Yeah. Do you guys think that the politically, charged late night, TV show people are losing the momentum, losing the relevancy, or
I can't even. I mean, when's the last time you watched one of their shows?
I haven't watched I haven't watched any of them for
When
like 8
Jimmy
to 10.
Fallon first came out, he was funny.
Jimmy
Yeah,
Fallon was, yeah, but not Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah,
No,
Jimmy Kimmel's never been funny.
no, the only thing he had going with the Matt Damon thing,
Yeah,
where they acted like they
they hate
shared a
each other.
girlfriend, didn't they?
shared a girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's common there in L.A. area, and that's shot in L.A., isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, Matt Damon had to be there to help make that funny. Matt Damon actually had to help make him funny because Jimmy Kimmel by himself is not funny.
I don't think he is. I mean, and another thing is just I don't know these people though. I think it's just arrogant that they think that whenever they speak about something, we're all supposed to be on board for that. I mean, they're not relevant to me. I mean,
Well,
not at all.
it's the same thing. I mean, it's not late night shows, but I don't know if everybody knows who Alex Jones is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that they came in yesterday and took his website down. The Onion supposedly bought it or said that they bought it, but that ended up they didn't. They went back to court and they're going to decide next week because they were supposed to have an auction for Infowars
Right.
and then everything that Alex Jones owned his studio. But what I'm saying is just because you buy a domain name doesn't mean that people are going to continue to come there.
Right,
It's
that's
pretty
right.
stupid, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's really
Right.
stupid because they're going to say, "Well, you're not the same person." So you don't think I think those
Well,
people who listen to Alex Jones can figure that out
But not,
immediately.
but he
Right.
was Alex Jones was smart enough that he already was ready. All he did is flip the switch and went from Infowars to the Alex Jones network.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I think about him when I first heard about Alex Jones. Obviously, he's not the typical person you want to listen to because he's got that odd
Right.
voice. Because it might go along with mine, I guess. But when I first heard him, I said, "This guy's taken seriously." But man, he does research and stuff. I mean, he basically got everything taken because of the settlement after the Sandy Hook thing, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, but yeah, I know. Well, recently,
yeah,
the Sandy Hook thing it was in the last 2 years that
Right.
happened, where it was like billions of dollars,
ridiculous amount.
$50 billion or something that they came and there was no it wasn't a trial by his peers. It was a judge that made the decision.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. I mean, it's like I can see being punitive, but that's ridiculous. I mean, even I don't think if everything Alex Jones owned would even
But what
summed up
he
for
was
that.
saying is the flow from the farmers' fields. I forget what the pesticide or whatever that he said that it made the frogs gay. Well, but what he was saying it did make them asexual.
Yeah, well, yeah, see, people don't understand that chemicals can change. The chemical, we know that. I mean, they give people, they chemically castrate people who are sexual offenders, by giving them
But that's
medications.
what they were making fun of him.
Yeah,
Alex Jones says frogs are gay.
it's like, well,
I mean, that's simplest terms.
the sense if they lose
From a group
interest.
of from a group of people, I'm sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off. From a group of people who can't tell you what a woman is. That's the part I don't understand.
And that's the
Yeah,
first. That's
yeah.
the first question they should ask
Yeah, it's like,
every nominee that Trump puts forth.
that's a good idea.
What is a woman?
What is a woman?
Yep.
And if they just say a biological female,
Yeah.
that's,
Every one of these
then
guys
they're
can
done.
say that.
Well,
Every one of them.
okay, the left will claim that they love science. All they're good is regurgitate little things that maybe Mr. Wizard told them when they were a kid, or that Neil Grassian or whatever, deGrasse, the physicist now talks about, astrophysicist or whatever, and they just echo whatever he says. They understand science. They don't. They
But
just repeat it.
do you get the feeling that stuff is over with? That
I think it is.
nobody's going to put up with it anymore?
I think it's less
And
likely.
that
Yeah.
Trump has given people not only something to look forward to, but the what's the word I'm looking for? But the ability to go forward with their own opinions and not worry what people think, as long as it's the truth and it's not hurting anybody.
I think you're getting a lot of people who are like scared. I think you're getting a lot of people who are like, oh my God, look at the whole world's coming to an end. Where's all this? And they're trying that and it's not working this time like it did the first time.
No, people aren't listening to it, like the Jen Psaki thing saying that we need a political police to police the internet because these bad people are giving out misinformation. Well, who cares? I mean, You were smart enough. I'm sure you heard plenty of misinformation
Oh yeah,
throughout your life, and you had to decide whether it was
True or false?
something you wanted to do or not, especially when you were a kid.
and I don't understand these people, the left, though, always saying like, "Well, we're the good guys." Everybody else is a fascist. You're a right winger. You're a Nazi. But these people are doing exactly what the Nazis and the communists do. They want to have a clearinghouse, a federal government making a clearinghouse of information.
Right.
That's exactly
But
what
I mean, I
Nazis
can
and communists
imagine
did.
them going after parents because of Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny.
Oh yeah, or going to church. Oh, you're
Misinformation.
yeah,
And
the
same
next
thing for Jesus Christ.
right.
For the next 4 years, at least you're going to be able to have a Christmas. At least
Oh,
you're going to have Easter.
I
At least
think
you're going to have a
the
lot more holidays.
But I think Trump needs to just beat the drum and just go forward and put his head down, his political head down, and just carry that ball until he gets the goal to
Yep.
the goalpost,
Yeah,
and not care what these people think. And already he's doing it. He by putting these good people forward, he doesn't care what they think about him.
We'll take so we talked about late night, right? We'll
Right.
take prime time and take morning time, right?
Right.
What do you think about Rachel Maddow and what she
I've
says?
not. I honestly have never seen her show. I don't really. I only know what they told us.
So I've watched her. There is no pretense of her trying to preach. She has no pretext of trying to be fair and fair or balanced or objective. She is. I mean, basically, she comes out. I mean, she labels people.
Do you remember
she's
how she
horrible.
embarrassed herself when she got Trump's tax returns and they were going over them line by line and they figured out he pays more taxes than he's supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm so tired of that. I've challenged Democrats on that all the time. The rich don't pay their fair share. It's like, what's their fair share? Well, whatever should be proportion of their. I said, okay, nail
Well,
on.
what about they did the same thing to us at our level?
Right.
They do.
Right. But see, the thing is, people got to understand. I mean, we bear with it. We are slaves. I mean, we owe government a chunk of our money that we make from our own efforts to them for not doing anything. I mean, the mafia has nothing on the government.
Let me ask you a question. If you made $30 million, you did one show a week, what do you think?
Well, I'd have to see if I could do it someplace in a low tax country.
That's what she makes.
Yeah, well, who makes?
Rachel Maddow.
She makes me $30 million a year.
Do one show a week because she can't handle doing 5 days a week.
Oh, well, yeah, it is because it's awfully hard to be self-righteous all the time. I mean, that's a hard thing.
I mean,
to put
that's
on.
good for her.
No, it's good
in
for
my
her. And I'm
opinion.
not putting her down. But the other side was then you go to the daytime show where we're talking about the different things, right? And
Mhm.
you were last week, you and I were going back and forth about the all American, it's Americans, everyone together. Well, then you got Whoopi Goldberg coming to St. Huston. I kind of was off for a few days
On The View.
on The View. I was off for a few days this week
Mhm.
where I was, able for a few hours in the morning. I got to watch a few hours of The View just to see what was going on. And they had announced Pete Hegseth, which is really good, and we'll come back and talk about that.
Who's a
for second.
combat veteran?
Combat
two
veteran.
Purple Hearts, Harvard and Princeton educated.
They love that stuff. They should just lap this guy right up. They love
No,
Harvard.
the former head of the NAACP came out and said that he's a racist.
Oh God, yeah. But this guy swims with he works out with this. He goes out. He does everything he can do with Wounded Warriors. He does everything he can. Hosts everything he can. Right. This guy does everything he can do. Writes books about how to turn the military back to
But
Whoopi Goldberg goes like this. Oh my God. Can you imagine that they just got somebody that works for Fox and Friends and he only works for the weekend? He can't get anybody that has actually only have a real show.
the man's a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm watching this going, are you stupid?
Oh,
You don't know nothing about him. This
No.
is all you can say about him.
That's a typical leftist, and they think they're right about everything. They're correct in their.
What's going to be good, and as a former military person, wouldn't you rather have someone that represents you and knows what it feels like to go to combat
Yep.
and actually go again when he didn't have to because he's got a couple of combat tours.
I have a friend who used to argue, and I used to didn't see the point. He said the only person he think of people that should run for president is people who actually serve in the military, and I think you have echoed the same kind of sentiment too. And it's like,
I think
I
I
don't
honestly
know
wanna
about. I don't know if it makes you a better person.
I don't think it
Not
makes you a better
everybody.
person, but I think if you're running for Congress, or Senate,
I don't know. Some of the people I served with, I wouldn't want.
I mean, I
to
don't
have
want
that kind
them-
of power. I don't know about you.
me either. But you know what? Most of the guys I did, I would be okay with. But the reason why I would say that is, you know what, we would understand why the budgets were the budgets that we had to spend. You know what I'm saying? Because we weren't wasting tons of money.
I don't know. I don't know how high you got up, but before I got out, I had a $4 million budget for that I had to deal
Right.
with, and you went. I tried to be. I didn't know the first time I got it. I was trying to be frugal and not
Right.
spend money.
Right.
And then when that last month came before the end of the year, I had all kinds of money left over that
That you had to
I
spend.
was told to spend. And what other people sections were giving me their wish list to buy
Right.
stuff for them.
Right.
That's how stupid it is.
I've been told that by people on the local level. They said that they have like a budget and they try to they pinch
Like a
pennies and stuff,
nonprofit.
and then at the end of the year they're close to the fiscal year because it's not a full year in January to January,
No,
and they're
that's
saying, "You gotta spend this
for
money.
sure.
You gotta spend this money." I'm
'Cause
like,
if you don't spend the
Yeah.
money, then they'll take that money away from you.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you don't get the base operating budget you already started with. I mean, it just that's
And it's hard because they fight that budget every year.
they should reward that.
But getting back to, I don't think you need to be in the military. I mean, it would help. It'd help anybody to go in the military if they took it seriously.
Yeah.
If you don't take it seriously, you can go in there and get nothing out of it.
Well, see, I can see that. I can see that, especially because let's face it, when there hasn't been, except for during Trump's era, where we weren't sending troops anywhere, he was bringing people back. We're always involved in some kind of conflict, and we search for things to get involved with. I mean, it's like you got a war, you guys are disagreeing. We'll send 10,000 troops.
like Kosovo.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Yeah, I mean, we send troops with even if they're
Go
not
there for
asking.
6 months and
Did you now? Was it as we were led to believe it was really brutal and stuff. I mean, was it really like a lot of villages and cities destroyed or what? I mean, Kosovo, because they made it look like the whole country was just ravaged.
the
with
Serbs and out. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, that the Albanians, they built their areas back up. The Serbs, not so much. That you would see churches that were bombed
Yeah.
and ravaged still that they didn't rebuild.
Yeah.
But like I said, getting back to some of his picks, we were talking about Matt Gaetz.
Right.
That my opinion is that it's a troll.
Okay.
That Matt Gaetz is just going to take Rubio's seat as senator, and then somebody's going to replace Matt Gaetz. It's just Trump trolling
The press.
the press.
One more time.
Yeah.
See what their
What do you
reaction will be.
think?
And you know, I don't know that much about that particular individual. I mean, I don't know his track record, but
Oh, he calls himself the firebrand.
He is a firebrand.
If he doesn't like he has no. I mean, he's a lawyer,
Right.
attorney, and he argues everything like an attorney.
He's a pitbull. He's a pitbull.
But he knows what he's talking about, and that's what they don't like.
yeah, they basically the press wants people they can spoon feed and
No, he doesn't put up with
They
the
try to
press
bring
either.
a case against him, a censorship
Yeah,
case.
that he messed around with a 17-year-old girl, and
Right.
that he's got proof that
It wasn't.
he didn't do it, but they won't release it.
I just
And that our own government did a sting, wired him up to go. Something I can't remember the guy's
They set the
name.
guy up for 20
Set-
something.
Yeah, the guy was saying that they were going to go after Matt Gaetz. He went to his father and said that we're going to go after your son. If you give us $25 million, I won't do it. But they recorded that, and their government has it, but they won't. But our government won't release it.
I wonder if that's going
Well,
to change over when Trump gets in office.
Well,
Yeah,
if he's
well.
going to be the AG,
Yeah.
most
Well,
definitely is.
yeah,
I think it'd be funny. I think it'd be the best thing. in the
I think
world.
it'd be a good thing. Not funny. There's nothing funny about it. I think it'd
No,
be a
it'd
great thing.
I think it'd be a great thing
Because
because
we need transparency. I mean, we need to see the ugly with the good.
I think you're going to see a lot of politicians wearing bracelets.
I'm not talking about
No, and I'm
doing
not
it to
saying-
put
I'm not
people in
saying-
jail or
I'm not
to
saying-
do it. I'm just saying just to have transparency to let us know what our government's doing, and that's
but-
what Elon Musk promised.
But I'm saying you're going to see a lot of these guys. You're going to see a lot.
We might,
You know,
but we might not. They might not go that far.
no, but they're going to get to the point where they might go that far, but it might get to the point where it's like
I'm
you're gonna
saying,
have, okay, sure.
okay. What I'm saying is, I don't want them to turn everything upside down and to go in there and just be a political witch hunt for the next 4 years. I want stuff to get done.
no, exactly.
I don't want people going in there.
But Steve, sometimes you got to go through and clean the closet.
No, my opinion is just
What?
say you're getting a
Lock
clean
the
slate
closet and we'll
from
keep
now.
walking by it because the
No,
crap is staying
no.
there.
Say we know what you've done. You need to stop what you're doing, or we're going to make this a thing. We're going to go after you.
We've
I'm-
said that so many years.
But my opinion is Trump needs to do what he promised first before he does any of this other.
unify the country.
He's already done that.
I think he's already done that.
Because he's got the popular vote.
Right.
He got the House. He got the Senate.
Well, I don't know if
What?
I don't know if you saw the guy that came in the man that came in with the first show we did today from the studio.
Yeah,
And-
guy.
Good guy, and he would be thrown if somebody saw him and he didn't heard his political views, you'd be shot because it doesn't seem like it would resonate or and
That's how you were talking about.
yeah, he's really
His
interesting.
eyes are open.
His eyes are
and
open.
He's willing to speak about it.
and he's
And
very
he's saying he's done with that bullshit.
yeah. It's
Well,
like
I don't know if he said bullshit,
no, because
but
it was a
I'm
Christian
mad
show,
at that.
but no, he said basically he's just, he's dismayed at how many people the black community have been taken in by the Democratic Party. So I think and he said that during the course of their podcast today is that they actually found, but going after Trump, the Democrats maybe solidified a lot of black voters behind him,
Right.
because he got street creds basically.
Right.
Because we know what it feels like.
Well, and plus, he got the Amish to come out.
Yeah, I mean the Amish are very quiet. I've never heard.
It was like 100,000 votes.
When you get the Amish to come out of their
Yeah.
spot to come vote for you,
Yeah.
you've done something.
Well, you know what's going on about the government coming in and shutting down that farmer. I forget what it's famous. And I forgot what his name is.
One of the counties in Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
Yeah, they poured out. He started a club, a food club,
Right.
and he was selling to people, and they just went. They've done it in Michigan too.
Oh yeah,
where
Oh,
they
wow.
just pour out raw
Right.
milk on the ground.
yeah. There's
Government sucks.
there's a farm in Lapeer, that county that had were some risking to get people get it to them, raw milk. You understand you got some risk possibly with that. I mean, you could take it home and
But you're an
pasteurize it.
adult.
Yeah,
If you know the risk, I mean, god damn, you're taking medications that can kill you every day.
right.
They can screw up your liver. They can put you in. You got
Right.
all these warning labels on legal medication
Medications, yeah.
that's dangerous, and people going and getting radiation for cancer.
Right, which is poison.
And that's okay, but somebody who just wants to drink some raw milk that may get food poisoning if they do it wrong.
Yeah, I just think and pasteurization. Actually, they believe pasteurization causes stomach problems
Well,
because it destroys the positive
In
bacteria in
my
milk.
opinion, government doesn't want you to be sustainable.
No, they don't. They
They
want
want you to rely on them.
Yeah, that's
Right.
exactly what it is. I mean,
Now, do you think? Go ahead.
if we found a way of keeping our houses cool or warm, whatever we needed, on their own, it didn't require the utility companies. Keep on saying this: the damn government, and along with those corporations, would outlaw it and throw us in prison. for it.
There's the thermodynamic thing where you put hoses into the
Right.
ground and you either blow air through it or you put water through it.
Yeah,
Right.
It comes out. You can heat your house.
They
Yeah. It goes
Government
right
doesn't
below the
want you
house.
going to that.
no, because it's there,
And it's cheap.
and they consider anything underground is theirs. You can pay for the topsoil, but everything like oil, water is theirs.
There's got to be it costs so much money to dig because you, like I said, you got to bury the hoses and the tubing underground, and of course it's got to be inspected by government.
I think George Bush then on his place in Texas, George Bush II. I think that's what he's got set up there, like using geothermal
It
pressure.
stays the same temperature all
All
year
year
round.
round, yeah.
Yep.
And ironically, he was the one who wasn't considered the environmental candidate, but his house is much better designed for low
Yeah.
carbon.
Don't you
footprint.
think that's weird that we haven't evolved into that where we're actually with earthquakes and tornadoes? Why aren't we burying houses or living under the earth
A little bit more.
most of the house? Why?
I don't know, because basically,
Because there's no money in it.
there's no money, and plus builders would have a hard time adjusting to that. I think they wouldn't be comfortable using the technology to do
Think how
that.
fast
No,
it
it's
would be.
easier.
You think it's
Think about
easier?
how fast it would be to throw up a house when most of it's just concrete.
Right. Oh yeah, I think that's and besides it, like very low to no maintenance if you do something like that.
And that's
very
why
little.
they don't want you doing it.
There's no paint, outdoor exterior paint or siding or
No, but it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to build, so it's a lot safer too.
yeah. It's like I don't know. Maybe we should for future episodes we can have people come in and talk about that or call them up and inquire about it.
To answer your question about one thing, I think that one of the things I would like to see with Robert H. Kennedy or Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., I think I would love to see him come back and say something like that. Is like, you know what, guys, let's go back to some of these old time rules that we had. Bring some of the old cow stuff and old raw milk and working and stuff.
But and the Amish person, Amos Miller, is the person that
Right.
the Amish farmer
Right.
Right.
that they went after. But yeah, RFK. The first thing, and like I said, in my opinion, the cereal companies are going to come out and they're just going to make the switch to whatever they're sending to Canada.
Right. Just
They're
do it
going to
here.
send it to us and make a big political thing. And this is what we've done. We didn't even have to wait, even though it's coming. You know
Right.
it's coming.
Well, yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, any kind of ad campaign too that come out of that, because basically now we'll get, and probably could propel sales even
And-
further, because
People would flock to it.
yeah, because he'd want to say, let's taste it, see what's in it. Just try. I haven't had this cereal in years. Let's see what they've done to it. You know,
Right.
that would propel sales for several
Yeah, 'cause
years.
I would, if I could get a cereal that didn't have a bunch of crap in it and was reasonably priced, instead of having to buy a cereal that's made like that you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it costs more.
As to be a higher level cereal, just to be the regular grade.
Right.
'Cause I love Fruit Loops. I
Is
have
this-
something in common with that name.
Yeah.
I'm
Two
crazy.
things. Yeah.
Crazy, not gay.
Yeah. No, but no, I just think that I think I'm really encouraged by some of his appointees. Of course, I'm not really happy about Christy Noem,
Why?
because she actually wants to criminalize any kind of criticism of Israel, possibly.
But the good thing about it, they have to. It's Trump's philosophy, and if I'm sure if he sees somebody going too far to the right or too far to the left of his policies, they're going to be
Called on Carter.
replaced so fast.
Because that's one thing she tried to pass legislation.
I'm
Mentioned it.
sure that he gave everybody. He probably told them exactly what he expects.
All
I'm
right.
not
but
expecting them to be automatons or robots for him, but to have a left and right limit.
what I like about it, you've got. So here's the deal. One of the things that it kills is the Mark Cuban. There's no strong women,
Mhm.
intelligent women, strong women. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
So
out of this whole
far,
group, out of this whole group, you've got over
out of 14,
yeah.
At
And
14.
you got at least, and in this are you've got your Homeland Security and Director of National Intelligence. That's huge with Tulsi Gabbard.
Mhm.
That's huge. And then you've got Secretary of Defense, Director of CIA, John Ratcliffe. That one right there, those 4 right there are actually working together right now. I think it's cool. With National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, you've got a great team right there.
So I don't know much more about Mike Waltz. I don't know much about him. So
Mike Waltz was he an Army Ranger? Or
I,
he was a he was a
he was Trump's attorney.
well, yes, sir. Well, I guess I think you know that. I mean, I don't think you'd put him in there if he didn't have any.
He was one of the attorneys that worked for Trump
okay.
In New York.
And let's face it, he had to be a tough bastard to be able to deal with that, because he was in the enemy's territory. I mean, New York
No,
is
they
not.
played with them. I mean, I'm talking Trump played. I've used angry, but his attorney. Maybe I'm going to say they didn't play like the way that they thought they were going to. They thought that they were just going to shrivel up and say, "Yes, I want another," or whatever. But he didn't.
I just think we got some good people. I mean, what I'm looking at, like Doug Burgum, and now that one I definitely.
Well,
never
he's
heard.
the governor for. Oh my God.
One of the Dakotas, isn't he?
Okay, because Christy Nolan was like
South
North
Dakota.
Dakota, and so basically
He was a former governor.
Yeah.
so basically 2 states are losing their top people going to
Right.
Washington, right?
But Doug Collins used to be from Georgia.
And
Okay.
he's a senator from Georgia.
Yeah.
They joined Trump last time around in the administration as an admin position. Didn't have. I don't think he had a
No.
regular position.
And I keep on going back to JD Vance started vehemently anti-Trump. Now he's the vice president.
I was anti JD Vance until I heard him talk.
Yeah, see, that's what a lot of people said. Because they did like the initial reaction he had against Trump, and that kind of put like a bad blood
Okay,
between
but
them.
let me ask you: up until this time around, how many times have you ever seen a political candidate in a ball cap and a t-shirt?
Not many.
Never. Yeah.
He's all the time running around like that.
Because I think he's like, well, I know people trash him because he's from the South or West Virginia or something like
He's
that.
from Ohio and
the Appalachian.
Yeah.
Appalachian.
Yeah, so they try to make him look like some,
He's
trailer
from
park
yeah.
trash.
Kentucky and
Yeah.
Ohio. Yeah.
Of course, we're not
Ivy
elites.
League educated,
Yeah.
and he's stupid.
Right. It's like, yeah, everything. It's okay. We believe everybody could achieve the same, but no, except for them people.
This thing, how they would. I don't know what Mark Twain's real name was, but think about how they
Samuel
would treat him
Clemens.
today.
Oh yeah, they would have.
He's just a dum-dum.
Yeah, especially when he wrote in dialect, like he had his characters speaking a dialect and stuff like that, which was kind of hard to read at times, but because it was kind of you're not used to, it, especially what the 19th, 18th, 19th century vernacular or
Right.
colloquialisms and stuff like that, it would be very hard. But yeah, they would have trashed him. I mean, yeah, they try to make him look like he's an idiot.
They
'cause he's
tried,
from
but
there.
it didn't work, did it?
No.
Because of the new internet, because the way that the things work now, the internet and phones and different things, you can't just trash somebody when you can go look up on your phone
Right.
for yourself and see what kind of person they were.
Yeah, I know it's
or
ironic.
and are.
See, I,
Like Fetterman.
yeah,
Everybody thought he was
I
an
think he's
idiot.
a pretty, I think he's a moderate. He's the type of Democrat that I want to see.
yeah,
I want to see more people like
He's a-
him. He's like the adult in the room.
he's more relatable too. I mean, I don't like the guy at first, but then there's some stuff he said recently. I said I heard somebody saying, I went, "Who said that?" And he said, "Fetterman." I
Fetterman.
went, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, I
Yeah.
thought he was a lefty, flamey, hating,
No,
hate
he's a
capitalist.
normal.
When he
normal
first came
dude.
in, he was just coming in with shorts
Yeah.
and a short shirt. I didn't like that.
But
then
to his
after a while-
defense, he said that it costs too much to make a suit. He would go broke making suits to wear every day in Congress. And he said, plus there's no dress code. He said he dresses up when it's appropriate, but
He doesn't look good in a suit.
Yeah, he said he's got spaghetti legs and no ass. He doesn't look good in the suit.
When I first saw him, he was basically in shorts and stuff like. He looked like some cartoon character
Right.
made into a human. I mean, that's what I thought. I thought it was something like created by Tim Burton,
Well,
but
they were trying to run him as like they were just trying
An
to run him-
idiot.
Yeah, they were
I
trying
mean,
to run him
that's
as
the
an
way the
idiot,
Republicans painted him. But
but they were also trying to run him as a the Democrats like we're going to reach to the common man,
Right.
But just like Oz wasn't a likable person, and they're wondering why Carrie Lake lost. She wasn't a likable person either. She came off as a politician and stiff whenever she talked.
yeah, I think that's got to go. I mean, the people got to resonate with you. You got to resonate with the people. I mean,
But that's my opinion why Carrie Lake lost.
Yeah,
People didn't like her.
that's
Oh, she feels like she's above it. When you listen to her talk, she's talking down to people every single time.
She's like
Still
remind
think-
me of a Bush type politician.
well. You and I both, Steve and I, you and I talked to people. Remember at one of the restaurants local here we went to. We didn't like the Republican Party in Michigan, and then we thought they were pretty much talking down to people too.
Right.
Remember? Yeah,
And
so,
even he admitted that.
yeah.
We won't. He who will not be named.
Yeah, well, but I mean, yeah, I think that you basically you gotta be genuine, and it's very hard to fake genuineness.
And even this person that we talked to mingles with the Democrats, even though
Will not be named.
will not be named.
right?
But he's just a good guy,
Right.
and that's what I get for Fetterman. I don't think he cares. I mean, yeah, he probably does somewhat. But I think he's going to be friends with whoever he's going to be friends with. That's the way he came off to me. And even with that tablet, he still had a personality.
Yeah, and I think I was initially I was opposed him because he did have all the health issues, but then he's so willing to put himself out there and he's putting himself through more effort than you and I or anybody, the
Right.
average person, to have to take to do this job.
Right.
I think that's got to be kind
Well, he
of
believes. I
feather in
mean,
his cap.
he sounds like he generally believes in his
Constituency?
Yeah, like I said, I'm learning big words and even how to say them now.
Yeah.
But he believes in the people that he represents, and that's what he's going to do. And that's why I don't think he'll go far, but he'll still be one of the people they'll go to for sound bites.
And I definitely think him having his health issues, and because of the cropping up from that, I think he's actually kind of a heroic character. I really do, Fetterman. I hate to say that because I didn't like the guy at first. I mean, I was like, oh my god, you got to be kidding me, But as time has gone on, I think he's not as objectionable as I initially thought.
I'm not thinking he's ever going to make the president, but I do think the guy is actually going to be the level head in the Democratic Party.
Well, I mean, look what he said about Pelosi running again.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, I got to go to that.
What he said is that she's going to be. Well, he didn't say that she's going to be, but you can get that. That's what he's saying. He's saying she needs to step aside and let someone else run for that seat. She's going to be, if she runs again, which she said she's going to be, at the beginning of her next term, she'll be 86 years old.
And she runs as a senator, right?
No, Congressman.
Congressman.
Okay, so okay, because that's what 4 years. Yeah. So I mean that
She's
I
been
think
in there since 80 something.
She was there before Reagan. She was around Reagan's
Oh
time.
my God. I could barely remember that era. I mean, I was in high school when he first got elected, and then the second election he ran in, I voted for him. That was my first candidate, candidates I could vote for after I turned
Well,
18.
But she's
don't you imagine that a
she's older.
congressman or congresswoman should be running around, energetic, like Trump? I mean, how many rallies does he go to in a day? What I'm saying is, in order to do the job right, you got to go to your people and you got to talk to them. I doubt that people probably have to wait months to talk to her.
She
Yes,
actually
she
got her.
will.
She actually got her butt handed to her though this last time. I don't think she's going to do too well. I think whoever goes after her this time, she's going to get pre. She's going to get. She's going to get
She's
hit.
in California. They cheat like hell. You
No,
don't
I don't
that
think
she's
she's
going to win?
No. If she goes against a Republican, you're right. But at the beginning, I think she might get.
No,
I don't know.
she's no. She's not. If she chooses to run, she'll win.
She could be dead, then they
And
stuff
she
her.
lives
But
in a
They probably
state.
would.
She lives in a state where you can't ask anybody who they are before they vote. It's against the law.
Anyways,
yeah, how many states are
The
like that?
guy went and said, "Well, you were born in 1952, maybe." Are you saying you weren't born in 1952? No,
maybe.
no.
Oh, but I'm not
He
saying it
wouldn't.
was.
He wouldn't tell him. He didn't have to, and they gave him a ballot to vote in California.
Oh, it's a huge state too, and they got a lot of electoral votes and a lot of popular vote. That sucks, it really does. But it should
Well,
be
I mean,
better
it's
scrutiny.
automatically written off.
Yeah,
It's going to be Democrats. So
yeah. I don't know. The Democrats to me, it just seemed like they have a double standard because they're always saying. I remember when Reagan was president, they're made fun of his age. They're making fun of Trump because of his age. When one of their people, like nearly 90 or something, like nothing
what
said.
was the greatest line ever said when they asked Reagan if age would be a issue?
He's like, I'm not going to make the age. What did he say? I'm not going to hold his
Age against them or something.
no, his what was it?
I didn't.
It was about Mondale, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. I saw
I
that.
refuse to hold his inexperience
Against
him.
them, yeah, his
Yeah.
inexperience against them.
Yeah.
That was a classy comeback too. And
Yeah.
even Mondale was laughing about that. I saw
Oh,
that.
he
on
lost it
stage.
right there. You could do it. So,
Yeah,
but with Pelosi though, here's the deal. I think Pelosi got it handed to her because they're looking for a scapegoat. She's the one that pushed it aside.
Yeah, but
She's lost
okay,
her
if
thing.
it would have been a Republican.
So I think the Democrat
No.
Party this time is going to cut her.
No,
You don't think?
no,
I think she's got a good chance of getting elected again. She'll be.
no. She's not.
They're gonna
she's
prop her
not-
up
she's
like
not
that.
going to be in a position of power,
Right.
but she's going to be elected again.
She could be like a placeholder then.
Well, she starts losing her mind like she is. If she goes to that DTS, she might get killed.
I shouldn't talk like that.
No, I mean,
Just on the
mentally,
internet.
if she gets her DTS, she's going to get killed politically.
You shouldn't use that word.
Okay, not killed politically. What's another
I
word?
mean, politically or
Politically. I
Oh,
don't politically, not personally.
okay.
But she's going to lose it politically.
Well, I think. I mean, every time.
Mentally, she's already lost it.
Well, she is. I mean, she shows the signs of alcoholism severely. She's very severe alcoholic, in my opinion. What I've
She
seen,
has a slur.
she has a slur. It's continuous. She's got that that volatility going on.
When you were saying how many places does Trump do? How many rallies does Trump do? All you have to do is how many times with her, how many bars does she hit a night? That's her problem.
Well,
Other guys, I've
No,
got
she had a bar open or in Congress.
Yeah,
It's
we
like a lounge.
Well, I've read this, and it was from the general accounting office. It said that actually her office, the biggest charge to her office in D.C. was for booze, not for supplies or anything else. Was for booze. The booze, it was way above the average bill because I guess all of them have like a allotment for spending.
What do you think about? There's a company that's offering cryogenic freezing for the next 4 years through Trump's term for people that have the money and aren't happy with what's going on in the world.
My understanding of cryogenics, basically, it's a crapshoot. So guess what? They just might be sentencing themselves to death if they do something like that. I think it's ridiculous. I don't. Yeah, let's face
It's
it.
satirical.
Yeah, I was hoping. Oh, I was kind of hoping.
a joke.
Oh,
I'm not good at that.
I know because you're hard to read, but no, I was gonna say, where's that at?
But there is a
cruise.
there's a cruise that goes on for 4 years.
So they can be outside the
They
water.
could be on the ship for 4 years.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that you can't vote for the next election, so you won't be here to vote. So when you come back,
They don't care. They're just going to race the next 4 years on a cruise.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if I had the means to get out of here back during the time when Biden got elected, I still wouldn't have done it because I'm still, I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm not going to go anywhere else for that. I mean, you just hope and pray that you can get another chance to get somebody. Obviously we did with Trump, but I mean, no, I just think it's ridiculous to sever your ties. That's just like it's like crybaby crap. I mean, if you really care about the country, you think your best way of doing it is stand and fight. Argue it out, debate it, get your people elected, support the causes you're behind. But no, I mean, running that's just gutless.
But did you see the FEMA thing where people were not going to the houses with Trump signs?
Yeah, I saw
Right.
that.
And
Yeah.
then she was actually on.
But didn't that remind? I mean, did you see the interview with her?
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
they said that they were scared to go. They were
Well,
told to avoid these houses with Trump signs. But don't you remember we had a friend that had a planter outside his house that had a loop in it, and he wasn't getting his mail for the longest time, and he didn't know why.
No,
And the person, the mail lady, said that she didn't go up there because he had a noose hanging. We
uh,
went to his house. He had pit
yeah,
bulls, and
yeah.
he showed us what it was.
Okay, yeah.
He just had a knot tied in the end, not thinking. You know how you grab
right,
a piece of rope and twist it through and pull it,
right.
because they used it. I don't know if they were raising and lowering, whatever it was. It was tiny.
Yeah. Or just like that guy that
And the mail person wouldn't. She would not deliver the mail.
well, that
It's the same thing. If you're scared to do something, then quit.
right. That's I mean, like I tell everybody said about officer safety. If you're so damn scared of everything, it is a dangerous job. You should have known that when they give you a gun, they give you training to use a gun. That
But
should be a
back to the FEMA
giveaway.
thing, in my opinion, if they're so scared to go to these houses, maybe they shouldn't be doing the job. If
That's
you're not prepared, if someone says you may have to go to Trump supporters' houses, and they say, "Well, I'm not comfortable with that," well, I'm not comfortable with hiring you.
right. I mean,
But
it's a
they saying that they skip, and then what a comedian said. How many hurricanes do you know that after the hurricane that there's any signage in people's front yards?
yeah, yeah.
Not many.
So what he was trying to say is maybe they just avoided whole areas because
There
they
was
thought they were Trump
We're just-
supporters.
right.
that's very yeah, and let's face it, they're supposed to okay, we're a federal agency supposed to service the entire group of people that might be affected by these natural disasters, except for you. What I mean? It just makes
Well,
so
But what?
I don't
Okay,
think of people when they go through a hurricane or something. They ran back to their houses. Oh my God, my house is destroyed. But my Trump signs over here. Let me go grab and put it in my front yard.
but
yeah, it
don't you
doesn't make
think
sense.
that FEMA should be hiring people from that area that can still work rather
Yeah.
than bringing in people from outside
Yeah,
and,
it's
and paying them all that money? I know some of the houses in the area are going to be gone, but some of them aren't.
well, another thing is
That's where they should get the majority of the people, don't you think?
right.
Well, they would know it. They would know what's going on.
Well, another thing is too, like a lot of the hotel rooms and stuff that were still, still viable, still usable, were now given over to the FEMA workers and not to the people who are being displaced by the actual storm and stuff. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, oh yeah, we're having luxury and comfort,
And
but
that's where
you
maybe they need to rethink, should FEMA be on the chopping block too?
It should
it
be.
should be. It should be
And
because
just give the money to the states and just mandate that they have a readily just staging areas with the supply. Especially in the Florida, they know over the years what areas don't get hit and what areas do, and have those supplies
Well,
there.
couldn't you give it to the military bases? And the
No.
military bases. No way.
No, it needs to be given to the state. The state knows how to use it the most.
I agree with
There's
that.
no military base in Michigan.
There's a National Guard.
Right.
And what I'm saying is that let the National Guard come in and
No,
help the
government
states.
needs to be out of it.
Government needs to be out of it, but let the National Guard come in and
No.
help out.
No,
If the
the government, the governor controls the National
They
Guard.
do, and let them
So,
have.
but why? Don't give them any extra money. It's up to the governor's the one that should run.
I don't
everything.
think that you should have a federal. I don't think you should have a federal spot, but I do believe that there's a lot of things that the military could have done better than FEMA could have done this time.
No, because it takes orders for them to get. They can't just go because they want to. Somebody has to gear them up and tell them to go.
another thing is
I know that, but I'm trying to tell you that it
What
would've
I'm
been
trying to
better
say
to
is,
say-
why would you get no? Because they work for the governor.
I understand
anyways.
it. They do, and I agree with you. I'm saying the same thing you're saying. I agree.
Well, if you
everything-
give the money to the state that runs the National Guard,
I don't think it should be. I don't believe it should be. FEMA should not have its own. I think FEMA should be on the cutting block all the way gone.
Right.
I think it should go to the states, and I think the states should be able to say, hey, you know what? We got the National Guard right away that they can mobilize them right away to take care of the different things. That should be done a lot easier than
Right.
other spots.
And that's why I'm saying the money needs to go to the state.
Right.
And the governor is
Ahead of the government.
has the National Guard if he wants to use the National Guard.
Right.
Or he has police if he wants to use police.
Yeah, there's like, for example, you voting here, you usually do it someplace like a community center or a church or something that sets up for do voting. Maybe those places could be
Oh, don't you
designated
remember when
for
we were growing
disasters.
up? We had disasters. We had, what was it, the CDC? What was it called?
It was civil defense.
Civil defense.
Civil-
We had the sirens. We knew where we were supposed to go if we needed help. Remember
Right.
that? We had rallying points when
Yeah,
we were growing up.
And a lot of those places, like this, like I said, there's schools. They had them here. They with Lowell Junior High School up, and they used to be down the street here. They actually had reserve areas that they actually had supply stashed, like water and crackers, emergency ration crackers, and this was a case for like national
But
disasters.
you remember
like,
there's people with helmets and everything
yeah.
driving around.
Yeah, I think, matter of fact, I think I have a collection. One of my collection is I got a helmet. It's got one of the symbols for like civil
The
defense.
CDN.
Yeah, CD on it. Yeah. Matter of fact, one of the guys that worked for the Genesee County. He lived in the neighborhood. He worked for the
And they had the guys
defense.
running around with the radios.
Yep.
Their cars were fit, or trucks, whatever they had, were fitted with the radios.
the hammer. Yeah, what we call the hammer operators, right?
Yeah, but they were still part of the CD.
Yeah, there's a guy.
Civil defense.
Yeah, network.
Not force network.
So civil defense. Nobody network for them. Yeah, but I forget the
But
civil defense.
that just died out
Yeah, because because
there's probably money that they could use for something else.
well, because they also they thought maybe it was done during the Cold War era, and they feared nuclear attacks. So that was one of the major focuses. I mean, of course, they would step in, hurricanes,
It
tornadoes,
was
and
for
stuff
emergencies.
like that. Emergencies. But yeah, there's a guy just over the street, one street over here, that actually was a ham operator, and he also was set up to assist in time of national emergency and stuff like that. You had the clearance and stuff like that. He had all the certifications
But
required to do
it
it.
seemed like during the summer it was a couple times a year.
Yeah.
And like I said, you see these guys driving around.
And we don't have that. I mean, we should go back to that. I mean, even if it's just not for, let's face it, nowadays, if it's going to be a nuclear attack, it's going to be so quick. It's going to be awfully hard to respond with any effectiveness. But if you're talking about national, natural
why not
disasters,
have
yeah.
like a organization ready to go, like you said.
Yes.
That are just they're like doctors, nurses, and whatever else that they need, and are volunteers.
You have to have generators, have some basic, medical equipment, some medical supplies. Yeah, I mean, and then that'd be great. People have training around that. I mean, I think that'd be a good thing to have instead of FEMA. I remember I was running with the Libertarians years ago, and one guy just did a lot of homework on FEMA. This is 30 some years ago, and he said they were inadequate and they're going to fail. Well, the Katrina happened like 10, 15 years after that, and sure enough, everything he predicted, that's what happened. He said, misuse of funds, you're going to have people doing this. Everything he said came true.
And that's where the Cajun Navy came from.
Right.
And
Cajun Navy is smarter because they
there's
know
a bunch of civilians that got together and just started saving people.
And
luckily, it was a Republican in office at the time that was smart enough to let his people decide. And the general, remember Raging Cane? Being smart enough to be able to use those people to help him.
Yeah, that's another thing.
You remember that big tornado that happened in Joplin, Missouri?
Yeah, it's a while ago, quite a while ago. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I went down there for about a few months to help working and stuff like that. We went down there, worked with a church. Amish groups, Mennonite guys came out, helped us build tents, right? Big old tents, so we could put food up and everything. Churches came in, donated. We had trucks coming in, about 20 trucks a day coming in. So the church is donating. So we had people in the town were helping us rebuild stuff and going around marking dead, survived, all that stuff like that. But here's the funny thing about it was 2 days after everything was done, then people were trying to find out where the kids were. When the government started getting involved, then we had to build a tent city so that we had to get the people away from the spots so the kids could stay with their parents because the government wanted to come in and start taking the kids away from them.
That's why, again,
this is kind of stupid.
FEMA should be disbanded, and whatever they got in whatever states, just given to the states.
Yeah.
Right.
the equipment and whatever.
So you've got to get common sense things. And common sense is the people that live in that town. They know what's going on. I agree with what you
Well,
guys are
because
saying.
North Carolina, as far as I know, it's still going on that
Yeah.
these people aren't taken care of. These towns aren't being rebuilt.
But I don't know if you knew this. Now, 1953 Flint area, they had a tornado called the
Big,
Beecher. One.
devastating.
Over 100 some people died, and they rebuilt this entire city, the portions of the stricken areas, without one bit of
Because
federal
guess
aid.
what? Because FEMA wasn't around
Right.
back then.
No.
And they had a picture of C.S. Mott back. He was an old man at that point. Actually, they saw him. They had pictures of nailing up, boards on a side of a house and stuff. So yeah, this community actually rallied, and helped each
and
other
I'm
out.
hoping this is like, not to get too weird, but I'm hoping this is like a rebirth for after that. I'm calling it the dark ages of
Right.
COVID. That
This is it.
that people are growing up and taking responsibility for themselves.
Yeah, I was so fortunate because I didn't have to be. Was no longer employed at the university. I couldn't imagine what that life would have been like if I was still at the university. About a whole change in the culture and everything else, and no freedom at all. With their maybe you just shut down everything. You just did everything online and stuff. I'm glad I wasn't part of that because I mean, I kept my hopes up when I didn't have to be part of that. I had friends that were still employed at the university during that whole time. And I haven't got a chance to sit down and talk to them about what their mental impressions were about that. How they had it drained on them psychologically. But I imagine it would have been very draining on that. I was glad I was out of there. For that.
Talking about what you just said, what do you think about Sylvester Stallone calling Donald Trump the second George Washington?
Well, yeah, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
What he was saying is George Washington didn't know what he was doing at the time. He was just doing it.
Right.
And same thing with Trump. I mean, he's not doing. He's at the end of his life. You might as well say. I mean, how many good years does he have left? Who knows? But what I'm saying is, he thinks it's important for the future of America to do something.
And he set back himself a lot financially. He also, let's face it, his reserves are amazing. I mean, he eats crap, junk food, and he's got more of a productive life than people who eat this health food and fiber and everything else.
He said his metabolism. He's just lucky that way that he can do that.
Yeah, all I know is I'm 61. I could not keep the pace up with that man who's 78.
No.
Unless I don't think they're, and he doesn't have the action that they're pumping him full of methamphetamines or anything like that.
No.
He doesn't have that kind of hyperness or anything else like that. I mean, he shows it's wearing on him a little bit, but I mean, God, the energy level of this man.
Even Joe Rogan pointed out. He said Trump looks the same now as he did when he first ran.
Right.
He didn't age. You look at Obama. He went in there with his jet black hair, and he came out with gray hair, looking old. Bush looked old when he came out.
Yeah. Both Bushes, yeah. Reagan did.
Reagan looked old.
Well, he was old.
He wasn't old. We don't know how old
he was. Old when he went. He was old when he came out.
I think
Biden was ancient when he went in. He came out ancient. So
I always thought Reagan probably Moses for fraternity brothers, but no, he was an old man. I mean, he was. I liked him.
I
liked him. I was never gaga for him. I didn't think.
But if you look back at his policies, they weren't as. He just came in. He looked good because of his predecessor.
Right.
Anything would have been good
better than
that.
Yeah, right. Jimmy Carter. I mean, he was pathetic. I mean, nice guy. He Habitat for Humanity. Kudos for that. But as a president, he was lackluster. That's being generous.
You got something?
No.
Nothing.
I mean, there's a lot. And I like the Ninth Court released all the JFK assassination.
Do you think it's going to make a difference?
No.
Do you think it's going to scare people? Because people have an idea. There's been enough books out there if you want to. They piece things together pretty good.
I think I'd like
people
to see
call
it.
them conspiracy theories, though.
I'd like to see it.
No, I'd like to see it just to see if that these people were right or not.
Well, I just definitely from what the grassy knoll situation we always heard about. I mean, if you just look at it, all I know is when JFK's the portion of his skull went flying over the back of the limo, I've shot enough hard objects with a rifle, shots.
Right.
It travels the course of the bullet, not a counter to it. So if you got shot here, why is his head flying over the back of it?
Oh well, that's the magic bullet.
Yeah,
it goes up and turns around, and comes back.
Yeah,
nobody ever shot one before, but hey, it does work.
And he used it, Oswald is supposed to use a Carcano rifle, which is not that most effective weapon.
A piece of junk
to a guy
to a guy who couldn't shoot him. Side of a broad barn. He couldn't shoot it.
Well, they say he was a marksman in the Marine Corps, I claim, but
That didn't mean anything.
I
He
mean,
wasn't a marksman. He couldn't even shoot a barn side. He said he couldn't even shoot.
so if that's the truth, that wasn't what I heard when I was growing up. But I mean, even if Eva was a good shot, you're talking about a curve, okay, over through foliage and stuff like that, because it was a live oak tree. They didn't lose their leaves until December or something like this. This happened in November. And often they don't lose their leaves, I guess. So I mean, yeah, just a one shot and that was it. No, two shots. No, I just never bought that. I always thought there had to be more than one shooter.
Oh, there
Yeah.
had to be.
It had to be because, like I said, his skull part of his skull went flying over the back of the vehicle. I mean, it's not going against. If you get shot in the back,
could you imagine if there were phones back then?
Oh yeah,
Even cell phones. Oh my God! Can you imagine
Can
that?
you imagine all the stuff they got away with is because people don't believe witnesses, or they just make the witnesses look crazy,
they're
or
going
they kill them.
and I think let's face it. There's probably my friend always said. He said if you want to find, if you look at a regular murder, just a normal murder, even on the TV shows or in the reality, you look at who benefits from the person being dying, right? Well, who benefited from JFK getting assassinated? Johnson, and guess whose state it was happened in? Johnson
Texas.
State,
Yep.
Texas, right? So, and guess what? Right, he made a lot of money after assuming the role of being president. So,
yeah.
so I mean, right there's the smoking. No pun intended. That's a smoking gun right there. Okay, it's never been. I don't think that you got to look. You can't overlook the obvious. You know what I mean, serious. I think he had something to do with it. A lot to do with it.
Something. I think he had everything to do with it.
I mean, I never liked the guy. Even as a kid, I didn't like Johnson.
I didn't like him. One of the things I don't like about him is this, and this is the one thing, he played all the racist movies in the White House.
Right.
He said, if I sign the civil right bill, we'll keep all the N words into the Democratic Party for decades. Here's the question. If I heard that and I was black, I would never vote for a Democrat the rest of my life.
I brought that up to black people, a couple of black people one time. One of them said, "Well, see, yeah, we know he said that, but at least we got what we wanted."
Okay, so he said it and he signed it. Then I'd walk away from him because I still get what I want, but I don't have to vote for the person that said it or the party who believes it.
Yeah, so I would even say, you know what? If you're going to say it with that kind of the way you said it, I don't know if I want it or not because should have been a red flag.
Right.
That's just arrogance.
But you think about it, the black communities had their own banks, they had their own stores,
Right.
they had their own dentists, they had their own they had everything. They didn't need to go.
No, I mean,
the Democrats. That's what the first thing. Well, go ahead.
The Democrats wanted him to be like, looking for the government as their hand, as their savior. That's what that's what they fostered. They wanted that.
And plus, the white businessmen didn't like it. They couldn't tap into that.
Right. I mean, like I said, I grew up where like a lot of blacks are still like I'll get 63. I was born in, so the civil rights movement was still going on, obviously at that point. But then when I saw the aftermath, I saw the destruction of the black communities because moms and dads are no longer in the same household. They're encouraged single parent. The policies.
I mean, yeah, you can if you're on bad times and you were married. Oh well, but yeah, they were even told if you get rid of your husband, if you get a divorce, then
you guys can live in the same house as be divorced.
Another thing is too, like I saw this happen too. Like I knew a lot of white
people too.
Yeah, I was going to say white families. I knew that mom had kids on welfare, and they're all living on ADC, for example, right? Well, then her daughter was 13, 14, and she was getting problematic, rebellious. The social worker attached to the family would actually tell the daughter, "Well, see, we can get you moved out. If you get pregnant, you can get you this," and they encourage girls to get pregnant and have kids out of wedlock, just so they can have that's how they dealt with it. I mean, and it happened more than once. It was kind of like a standard reaction I saw, or that's the stock approach to dealing with a rebellious daughter at 13 or 14. Get her pregnant somewhere and move her out.
But that's what I would like Trump to do, is come and clean out our court systems at the lower level. I mean, not Trump, but you know what I mean?
The administration.
Just like, it's just not fair to be a man and go up against child support.
Now, do you think the way the law is written, though, isn't that dependent upon the states? Would you just put like pressure upon them to reform, or would you actually say maybe just abolish the state control and give it to the federal government, or what would you suggest?
Like the feds. Well, don't you remember when we had, I forget what his name is. He did that show for single dads.
Larry Howland.
Yeah. And he explained to us. I didn't know about it. For every dollar the state gets, the government gives them $2 for yeah. What's the name of the agency?
Front of the court.
Front of the court
Yeah.
collects for every dollar it gives out. It collects $2
from the federal government.
Well, that was back then. We're talking 15 years ago.
15, 20 years, yeah, 15, 18 years ago.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure it's more money now. It's money for them. Front of the court makes a lot of money.
It's a very, and it's
'Cause
never,
they get to hold that money. And what do you think happens to that money while they're holding it? They're probably investing
Right.
it and using it for something else. You know how government is.
yeah, they don't have to, they basically, well, yeah, we got this much money in and we still got that much, but it's invested in this and it's getting this much percentage on it, or we got to, or we
Because
did
the
the
front
deal
of
with
the
this one.
court takes the money out of the father's paycheck
Right.
and then gives it to the
Right.
mom.
And the only way
But then
that,
they also hold an admin fee and other.
I'm
other
sure
stuff.
they do.
oh yeah. Another thing is too, the only way the father can often see the kid is if they do pay. If they can't pay, they're not seeing the kid. So basically it's a pay per play or pay per view, to see your kids. If you don't pay, then sorry, you're not being able to see your
If you
kid.
get behind so far, then they can put you in jail.
And then you're labeled as a bad person because, you're a negligent father and,
Deadbeat dad. and all this
Government sucks.
the government does. Because, people say there's got to be a law. And guess what? They say, oh, we can come up with it. It doesn't address the issue or it can even make more issues. But, we'll do that. We'll make a law.
You let government in your life, you're screwed.
Yeah, just like a lot of people have talked to me that they were born just before on the periphery before they started the social programs, and then after social programs, they said I benefit from one thing: I was born at the right time, so I didn't get advantage of those programs because if I had, I would have been hooked, and I would have been finding it hard, almost impossible to get away from them. So I talked to a lot of older people that born on just the time of the growing the depression, and they didn't get all the handouts. They got some, but not the handouts that become more generous. And if you had been, it'd been very hard to escape that because you'd have to have a job paid twice as much as you got because now they're going to turn around and tax you. If you try to move away from the system, you're going to have to make twice as much you did now, even to break even.
Right.
2 to 3 times even more.
But a good thing about Trump, you were telling me the other day that you know someone who has investments and got a letter from
Yeah, good.
their company.
The company's doing the money. It's just like with overnight with a couple of $1,000 that's jumped in the account. Just boom. And they said, that's great. It was like, it was stagnant.
And the only thing the person could think that it was Trump.
Yep.
Yep.
Because there's a cartoon about it where you see common sense. You see Trump walking in with a briefcase, shaking the hand of Uncle Sam, saying "Welcome back," and Trump's holding the things says common sense. Says, "I'm glad to be back." So it's like and it's just everyone's saying "Welcome back to common sense." Basically, all the people are
But-
like crying, don't have any common sense about any of this stuff.
But his friend was very happy to open that
Oh,
letter
yeah.
for one. Usually he dreads those letters.
Yeah, it's like, oh crap. What would I lose?
Yeah, and basically that's what it is. But now you're getting it because stocks are saying yes. Banks are going to be able to hold sell. Hold. People are saying, okay, great, because we have a direction. We didn't have a direction underneath Biden.
No, he couldn't
It
be.
was like,
Well,
okay, yeah, today we're going to go this way. Tomorrow we're going to go that way.
but grocery prices are coming down somewhat
Yeah, just
already.
I haven't
see.
been to the grocery
it's
store
more-
in the last few days.
Well, I'm not saying we may not see it. I'm saying on average. I'm talking about a national average.
Gas prices came down in Ohio and Pennsylvania. I can tell you that.
Well, part of our problem is, we have summer and winter blend. And
Right.
we have, I think it's 3 or 4 refineries in the state.
Is that money? I guess
It's a couple, maybe it's 2.
I think it's what. Yeah.
So a lot of that's our own damn fault.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a need for the summer and winter blend. I don't know if other states do it like we do. I'm not sure.
We do it because we think we have to have it because of our snow, but we haven't really had a bad winter.
No, look at you. It's already switched over to winter. And what the average temperature is 52 degrees or something, and it's not gonna. Well,
We don't.
we don't know.
I'm leaving for
Next week,
Escanaba, so don't curse.
next week, it's supposed to be in the 50s too. So
I'm happy to see that because
In 2 weeks, I'm spending Thanksgiving in Escanaba, guys.
Well, that's cool.
good for you.
It's
You know
gonna-
why?
Why?
We're doing a show there for 2 days.
Over Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Escanaba in the moonlight.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I think they say it's funny as hell, but I never
You
seen
got to
it.
see that one.
Yeah, it's Jeff Daniels. Which the
Have
person
you seen it?
No,
You
Michigan
have
guy.
never seen that? We got to do a watch party just to watch that.
Michigan guy who stays in Michigan for the most part. Of his career.
sometimes I like them. Sometimes,
Yeah, sometimes he's lame as hell, but
But that show's kind of funny.
yeah,
It's slow, but it's funny.
I hate to admit, but I did like Dumb and Dumber. But yeah,
What do you think about Mark Rubio as Secretary of State?
I don't know. He was never a Trumper, but because I want these people to be in their position and be able to do what they want. You know what I mean? I want them to be the type of people that he picked, and he has a certain expectation out of these people, and to be their own person.
Okay.
I don't think I don't these positions. If you put them in there,
Right.
you got to let them go
Right.
and do their own thing.
Unless they screw up seriously, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I don't want him to have another Jeff Sessions.
Oh God, no.
That guy's
No,
pathetic.
he doesn't have that. You could say that with Matt Gates. I can tell you that. much.
That was horrible. When the man they let I don't know
He recused himself like right away from everything.
Oh,
He just sat there and just
and let his underlings take charge.
yeah, that was stupid.
lazy or basically something. They had something on him that he didn't want to be
No,
revealed.
he was pressured into doing. I don't know, man. It was just that whole time was stupid.
It was the first group that he had. It was like it felt like now listening to him talk. It's true. I think that whole thing was picked out for him when he first walked in the door.
What do you think? I mean, and Elon Musk is one of the people that is doing it to get rid of the EV tax or
Tax
credit.
credit, yeah. It's a tax. What do you think? It's on the chopping block right now.
Isn't that goes definitely against his interest? It have to.
No, but he doesn't care. I mean, he said he took the money because they gave it to him.
Yeah, I would find that hard to
But
believe.
he probably believes in his vehicles enough that he doesn't need it. And be honest with you, the people that are buying those vehicles,
They're
Yeah,
usually
really.
they
upper
don't
crust.
need money.
Yeah, they're upper crust anyway.
They don't need a
They
tax
would have
credit.
bought them without that tax credit.
Yeah, because definitely you say you guys go and buy a car or something like that. You're not going to be buying one with what 80,000 or something like that or better. I mean, who can
Cars
afford
are
that?
coming down because and especially trucks. Trucks have dropped. Like
They're gonna
trucks
be
that were
tougher.
selling for like $120,000 are selling for 80,000 now.
Yeah,
Watch
because
them. They'll keep
Because it's
coming up.
like it's the the economy,
yeah, I
or
just
what's the word that I'm looking for?
Well, the supply and demand. You got too much supply. You gotta get rid of them.
Well, that's what I didn't understand. Why are they stockpiling these trucks?
Yeah.
Well, obviously to keep people employed.
well, another thing is too. They did have problem with the chips too. I guess the more onboard computer chips or something like that. But
That was a long time ago. That
Well,
was
there's-
during COVID.
I know there's still a lot of them over, across the river from where we're at now. There's quite a few of them there just a few weeks
I
ago.
mean, who do you know that can afford a $80,000 vehicle?
I know people can't afford a $10,000 house, so I mean,
no, that's true.
yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. I mean, but
I mean, remember when, 100 years ago when we were growing up, my first car was my Jeep. It was $9,951 and like 52 cents.
yeah, now it's like
That
it's like
Jeep that Jeep.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean that's
that
like
was 1986.
well, look at the muscle cars back in the '70s, what like $4,000. Now they're like what? You couldn't touch one of them for like 80, 90,000.
No, because I thought when my sister paid like $30,000 for a car, I thought she was crazy.
That's my parents looked at that and they said we didn't pay that for our house.
Driving a house around.
Yeah, that's
You
what my dad
live in
said.
it. That's what I said.
Well, the old Buick, the Buick, Buick, Deuce, yeah, the
But just-
Buicks, the big
Just to
Buicks,
drive
Rivieras.
to buy a truck that's $100,000 just to get from point A to point B. Does that make sense?
No.
No.
If you're not used, and plus these newer trucks, you can't beat them up like you could beat up an old
No, and
farm
they won't
truck.
live. They won't live that long.
They don't live that long. No, that's true. I mean, the quality's gone down now. I think. I mean, they're all plastic, which is good, I guess.
And a
in
lot
some
of the
ways.
bullshit is because of the government and their restrictions.
Yeah, and just the General Motors and all the other ones. Yeah, they did some screwed up stuff. But a lot of it was foisted upon by the government. What they set them up for a bad fall. A lot of their mandates, a lot of their rules and regulations, they helped set it up to destroy the American auto industry. I really think that.
Oh, I did like when I looked at I did look at that who he's brought on.
The
Yeah.
list of announcements that Trump
Yeah.
made for positions.
And it's exciting, and I like the fact that I know we don't always agree about the Israel thing.
Yeah.
But I do like that the guy that they put for the ambassador to go to Israel, Mike Huckabee.
Yeah.
I think that's a good pick.
I don't care about Israel. I don't even
No.
think we need to waste the money for an ambassador.
But I did like how did you see how Trump is actually picking how he's picking these guys? How he's doing his whole
No.
how he's doing the search this time? He's got a situational room set up at Mar-a-Lago.
Dude, it's been done for months.
I
Yeah,
think-
but what he's been doing, he's been watching everything on the smart lago, on all these cases. Every one of these guys' files have been up and going like that. He's been watching the different things going over. This man has been studying this for a very, very long
Right.
time.
And I'm saying he's already got his people.
he already
He
And
already had them
he's
all
just
picked.
announced these people because well, I couldn't wait to hear JFK
Right.
Jr. I wanted or Robert Kennedy Jr. I
Right.
said JFK, didn't I?
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy. I wanted to see him in place. I wanted him to actually not to be a czar. I'm happy that he's got a place at the table.
and
He's gonna take care of that admiral person out of there, and he'll be there.
that thing that's
Levine,
yeah,
the man
it's,
in the dress.
Yeah.
That was so horrible.
oh, that was embarrassment. I'm sorry.
That killed me when I saw that.
Besides, if you're going to be that way, don't you think you'd learn get some makeup and wardrobe tips? I mean, it just doesn't make it work. I mean, if you're going to do it, at least look better at what you're doing it. I mean,
I don't think you.
I just think it's funny as hell. I mean, I got to make a joke out of it.
It is
Otherwise,
funny,
it's,
and thank God we can laugh at it now.
it's like
I mean, could you imagine if we would have laughed at it like 3 years ago?
we've been
Oh,
We'd be in
we would-
jail.
Yeah.
or threatened at least. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, my God. Oh. I mean, okay, I got Scottish ancestors. We make fun of each other wearing kilts. Okay,
Right.
it's the tough guys wearing skirts. But this guy, oh my, I'm a female. And
Well, but in Germany, a 72-year-old man, they broke into his house. I mean, the police broke into his house and took him out in handcuffs in front of his family in the middle of the night because he said a politician was a dumbass. Well, actually, he didn't say it. He shared a picture that somebody else posted.
well, I guess England.
Could you
wants-
imagine if the Democrats were
Little
to
one.
come in power? That's where we would be at the end of 4 years.
Well, the British government politicians want to actually penalize us to extradite us to England to face charges if they don't like what we publish. I mean, this is bullshit. I'm sorry. The First Amendment is like they've wiped their ass with it. I
Yeah.
mean, and I mean, I don't
But
they have a
in
semblance
the
of something like that?
European countries really have.
Yeah,
But
that's
I don't know.
that's why I like the Hungarians for and the Polish people.
No, you
they
are
stand
right,
up there in
though.
Europe.
You are right. If the Democratic Party won, we would have been within 4 years. We would have been there.
Well, I mean, going back to what Saki,
Yeah.
Jen Psaki
Saki,
said,
fuck it.
and then who's the lurch dude?
John Kerry.
John Kerry saying you got to get through the noise.
Yeah,
But in order to get through the noise, you got to control the noise, and we may need to roll back the First Amendment.
yeah, because it's problematic. Not problematic. He even said it
Yeah.
worse. He's definitely shows contempt for it.
But she more or less said the same thing that we need internet. It's just crazy, man.
That's what
People think like that. If I don't like something somebody posted, I just do a shit post real quick and then I take it off and then I go on to the next thing because it's not worth getting an argument with
But
anybody.
here's the thing. All right, so she says that. Here's the question. She makes a living off that First Amendment.
Yeah,
And she makes a living off this shit that she says.
right.
Yep.
Oh, no,
So-
no. She wants to police what she doesn't think is right,
Yeah, she.
not what she says. What she says is okay.
Also, anything that comes out of her mouth, that's free.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. I mean, they always want that. They want to be the gatekeepers. They want to say yay or naysayers. That's what they want. That's what
But
the
I mean,
elite want.
do you ever go on X at all? On either one?
I do.
Yeah, I
But
do.
you see, there's community notes and things.
Yeah.
Even
Right.
Elon Musk, they really get on anything that he posts. He could post that it's a nice day, and they would do community notes. No, it's not.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, sometimes those community notes are useful, and there is like an internet police, informal on X. They don't do it on Facebook.
Mm-mm. You know what?
Facebook just decides that they're going to block you
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I'm kind of tired of Facebook a little bit. I'm
Uh,
not on Facebook that much. If I'm on Facebook,
The
it's
only
when
reason is
something
because
like-
my family's on there and my friends and people I knew were in the military are on there. It's just a place to stay connected that way. I post our videos on there
Right.
That's all I do.
on our Facebook page. But as far as the interactions, unless I know the person, no. And then we have a friend that when he posts certain things, we just know he needs a mental health day, and then we go get him and we take him to lunch.
Yeah, because he's like, yeah, it's a good place to air your problems so you got
Some
friends that
people
can
do that. I
yeah.
never do.
I don't,
That's what this is for.
this is the catharsis for us, cathartic. Yeah, but I was told by somebody, by the way, one by personal critic of mine saying, you guys just talk about your opinions. You don't talk about facts. You don't talk about
We
anybody
talk
else's
about what
opinion.
we think not what we know, what we think
Well,
we know.
I felt like saying to this woman, did you read what it says on there? It says 3 guys talking. That's what it says.
And it doesn't mean that I might say something today that might change tomorrow, depending on what like Fetterman a year ago,
Right.
I would have been beating them up.
I mean,
Not physically, but
Did she say trio fact? I never saw it. We thought we said
No.
well, she said it to me personally. This, I know, you know the woman I'm talking about.
yeah.
And it's like, she's like, you guys did this and you guys do that. I was like, and she goes, like other people's
Then
opinions.
don't watch
I
it.
said, don't watch it.
We
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah. It's like, it's
Sometimes
Sometimes.
it depends how the equipment goes prior to the show.
well, this
Or free stream.
it almost didn't go up today. I was like, damn it. Everything. Oh, yeah. We've had a cluster, I guess, again, say the word, but the word that goes along with it.
Restream does anything.
Well, we're
different
hoping our videos going out.
Yeah. We got 2 people watching right now, I think, or
Yeah,
we don't know
never
where it's
know
going to.
why.
Yeah, maybe they just feel sorry. We'll just listen to these 3 guys I just got it on. I'm not listening to them, but
Well, actually, that's what a lot of people do. They just turn it on and walk away from it.
background noise. Huh? Yeah.
But okay, you guys had time to think for a while. What is one thing that Trump hasn't already done that you would like to see him do at 12:01 that would make you happy?
I'm just too relieved that he got elected to actually think of anything. I liked his agenda. He's already stated that he wants to get done. I really don't think I can add anything to it or would want anything.
So
No, actually,
you're happy right now with this. I'm happy with just the RFK.
Yeah.
I'm great with RFK. I'm great with the Matt Gates. I'm great with everybody I see on here. This is great. What I would love is that he goes back over and gets that Keystone Pipeline back in line right away.
Yeah,
If it's needed, it might not be needed. But you know the deal with that, right? A lot of his stuff is moved by rail. And it's so stupid. You know the government owns all the rail cars.
Right.
well, that's not.
But somehow private entities rent them out.
Well,
It's just crazy.
I don't.
And what I'm just saying is they would rather stuff be moved by rail than by
So they can
train.
I tried.
derailments and stuff.
Well, because of the money.
Oh, yeah, that's just another added cost for the consumer. So
Well, think about it. I mean, how fair do you think it is that a train can block Center Road and Genesee Road, or not Center, Center Genesee, not Center Genesee and Belsey Road at the same time? The train's that long.
yeah, and yeah, this definitely just disrupts traffic flow for 15 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes.
I don't know.
But
I
anyway,
think we're running out of stuff.
so anyway,